Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Sam Zaranovich. I'm a chiropractor, and I want to talk to you today about sensations versus stories. It used to surprise me all the time when I would ask a patient, tell me how this part is feeling right now. And they would say, well, about 8 months ago I had this accident and I tore something or I rotated something or I hurt something and I've had to take care of it in this particular way for the past 8 months, and because of that I can't do these things, and because of that I've had to do these other things and it's in the way of this other. But how does it feel? Oh, it hurts, but let me tell you more about what happened. And it used to surprise me all the time, like, why am I having a hard time getting you to answer the question I'm asking? Why are you jumping to a different question that I haven't asked yet? And recently, from my learning and research about trauma and our responses to it, I have learned that that's actually a really common trauma response. That it's in fact pretty normal for people to stay out of the sensation in an injured or traumatized area, to not even want to look at that, but instead focus on what happened. The thing about trauma is that it keeps us stuck in our past. The thing about injuries that are stuck in our body, that are deep set in there, is that we keep protecting ourselves from something that already happened. That can be really, really useful if it's going to happen again. We want to be protected from things that are likely to reoccur and are harmful. So that's a great strategy for survival. But when we're talking about thriving, when we're talking about our bodies feeling good, when we're talking about really being our best and being well, protecting ourselves from the past, I mean, it even sounds silly when I put it like that, right? But it's a really normal and common trauma response. And so I wanted today to talk about a really simple tool for getting out of the story and back into the sensations. The stories are what keep us in the trauma response, or at least they're part of the glue that holds the trauma response in place. Sensation is the way out of the habitual trauma response, the chronic trauma response, but we want to move cautiously. Your body has been protecting you, if you have trauma, from feeling an injured or traumatized part. So we can't just go right in there. Your brain's going to rebel. Your brain's going to say, well, that's not safe. I know it's not safe because I've been protecting myself from it, and I wouldn't be doing that if it weren't necessary, and so clearly it's not safe because I'm protecting from it. So instead of right up against the trauma, what I'm going to suggest we do instead is come at the sensation gently. People tell me all the time that they're really worried about, I don't want to re-experience that thing that I experienced before. And people often talk to me about what they think healing entails is, I have to feel all of the things that happened during my accident or during my surgery or from whatever injury or traumatizing experiences left me where I am now. I have to re-feel all of that stuff, and you don't. In fact, re-feeling a lot of those things can re-traumatize. Precisely the same injuries, precisely the same ouches. So instead of re-feeling, how about instead we just feel what's there now? If I have trauma in this part of my body, my brain is used to avoiding looking there because it got overwhelmed, and it was overwhelming at the time, and we have to protect ourselves from the overwhelm. But that doesn't mean that me feeling what's happening here is actually dangerous. So, we're not going to start in a traumatized place, but let's do a little activity together to start feeling what's happening in the body right now. And let the body's wisdom, let the body's natural intelligence do the healing for us. So there's this really simple exercise that I want to introduce you to. I'm going to start by placing my hands on my chest. You put your hands wherever feels easy. That means if you have some clearly traumatized, I had this bad whiplash injury, or I had this really bad knee blowout, don't start there. Start somewhere easy. Someplace where you haven't had really significant pain and trauma and injury happen. And you just rest your hands there. And the exercise is so simple. I'm touching my chest. This is my chest that I'm touching. I'm touching my shoulder. This is my shoulder that I'm touching. And I'm noticing, as I name and identify what I'm touching, just whatever sensations are under my hand, whatever sensations are in this area. There's a little tightness in the muscle this way. There's maybe the faintest ache around the joint here. Just noticing it. I'm touching my right shoulder. This is my right shoulder that I'm touching. Kind of neutral. I don't feel a lot of sensation. There's maybe a little muscle tension here, small. I'm touching my neck. This is my neck that I'm touching. It feels complicated. And suddenly I want to describe all of these things that have happened. Cool. That's probably a good indicator that I have some trauma there. I do. But I don't want to go into the trauma. I don't want to go into the event. I don't want to go into the history. I want to go into the sensation that's happening now. There's some muscle tension kind of at the top. It doesn't feel symmetrical. It feels like it goes back and forth, down lower on the left side, up higher on the right side. They feel like they're pulling towards each other a little bit in an uncomfortable way. It's not intense, it's just there all the time. Good indicator. I took a big breath. I'm going to leave it alone now. When that spontaneous breath arises, you've made progress. I'm touching my left elbow. This is my left elbow. I'm touching my bicep. This is my bicep. I'm touching my right elbow. This is my right elbow. I'm touching my right biceps. This is my biceps. Just naming and identifying and owning our parts while paying attention to the sensations that are happening, not the stories that we're used to hearing or telling about them, but just the sensations that are there right now. You might even be able to hear it in my voice. My voice has dropped a little bit. I've slowed down because I've actually just from that dropped a tiny bit of layer, a little tiny bit of extra guarding, protecting against sensations that are uncomfortable that I don't want to feel. But just by noticing that they're there, even if the sensation is still there, there's still some complexity here. There's still some tightness here. But just noticing that it's there means that I don't have to protect myself from it, and I'm not spending the energy avoiding it. So try this out. See what happens. If you start hitting a wall, if you start running into, I don't feel anything, I don't even know what to feel, good indicator that there's some trauma, and keep doing it. Keep doing it. Most people don't get big results with this exercise the first time they do it. This builds over time. So practice this. Try it once a week. Try it every night before bed for just a few minutes in a couple of places, and explore your body and the sensations that are happening in your body. And notice how your mind will be so eager to present you with the stories of what happened, the things you've tried about it, how long it's been going on, all of the things that didn't work, and turn your attention back to what you feel, what sensations are there right now. You may even notice some emotions rise along with the stories. That's fine. Don't focus on the emotions either. Just see if you could name and acknowledge them. Oh, I feel some sensation here, and it's a little bit frightening. But the sensation, what's it like? From where to where? How tight? How loose? How intense? Turn your attention again and again back to the sensation, and your brain will start to ratchet down away from the fight, flight, survival mode and back into the rest, digest, healing mode. I hope you found this helpful. Just a little quickie today, and if you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments. If you do run into challenges with this, if you're not certain what you're feeling or if you're doing it right, in the comments, please. And do like, comment, share, just to spread the word about this. And follow me on my other social media if you're curious about keeping up with me. My email list is a great place to keep up with me. Thanks so much for your time today. I hope you have a good one. Take it easy.